Thank you very much, Eve. So, I mean, some interesting and very strong opening remarks there from the Mayor, obviously, and it's obviously something we all feel very passionately about. And I hope, really, obviously, I agree with everything that's been said, and I'm going to give it a little bit of context and obviously say what we've been up to. So, the B network is, by definition, the sustainable, low-carbon foundation of what will be our network, what Andy was talking about. It literally is the first and last step. So just to give you an idea of why this is so important, because we have to be clear, if it isn't those first and last steps, will lead to the car instead. So it's essential for all of that, for all of our network to thrive, that the first bit actually works as well. But for me, I think it's important to just focus on for a second. The B it's much more than a network and infrastructure. Again, you alluded to that, Eve. It's health, it's environment, it's social justice, and it was conceived as a guarantee of quality and of green transport. It signifies a green transport option, and it's school streets and officer training and wayfinding and active neighbourhoods and bike hire and things we haven't even thought of yet. And it represents to me a commitment to culture change. And all of Greater Manchester's major strategy goals actually depend on the residents of the region making that change. So we launched that symbol 3 years ago, if you like, to remind us that this mission laid out in the Made to Move report, to keep our actions, however diverse they are and however far away we are from the bike path, to keep them all directly linked to that outcome of culture change. And I'm happy to say that we have made brilliant progress. Skip on, Eve. I think it's worth noting that while I'm just pausing to look backwards, that the implications of not changing are quite incredible, yet it's often, even usually, the choice that isn't discussed and the consequences aren't considered in deliberation. So we made sure back then that it was included in that initial conversation, and we made sure the price of the status quo was very visible. And I'm happy to say we made a choice to change, and what changes were needed were laid out in the Made to Move report, 15 of them. You can see them there. They were unanimously supported by the leaders of the region and when it was put before them. And as you can see, just over 2.5 years on, we've made good progress. We've succeeded in lots of those areas, but frankly, we failed in others, and some of them are really important, which is why I think it's time to refresh and streamline our efforts and focus in on what will give us the most bang for our buck. And I think we can focus in on just 4 areas from this point forward. So safe, connected space is essential. As Eve said, it's not the only thing, but we simply won't get much culture change without it. We'll be focusing on encouraging before having enabled. So again, it's our foundation for change. And progress has been amazing. We need to make sure that we capture that. It has been amazing. We've got processes that are now in place, real technical, boring stuff that was needed. We've conducted over 6,000 hours of officer training, and that's already been delivered and continues to be. And we've got teams to develop these schemes that have now been bolstered. And 2021 will be the year when a lot of this progress really starts to become visible. In fact, it's already out there right now. We're going to get just under 100 kilometres of safe routes that will be delivered by the end of the year. We've got several active neighbourhoods on the ground, and of course, groundbreaking junctions, the Cyclops junction being one of them. 2 of them are in fact already down there, already in place. Greater Manchester councils are now delivering 10 times faster than they were in just 2017, which is brilliant. But the background research that we've been doing for this refresh that I mentioned has shown us that we've got to go even faster if we want to deliver this network in 10 years, which we must, to remind you, if we want to hit our 2040 transport strategy goals and deliver our 2030 carbon reduction commitments, outcomes that are utterly dependent on mode shift. So the good news, of course, is it's doable. I think we've got lots of instances where we've worked collectively together to get things done across borders, and we can align our aspirations with our activity if we act now. And as Andy said at the start, we need to go up a gear, and this is the time to do it. We're on the cusp of change. This brings me to the other main reason that people tell us they don't want to get out of a car, safety fears. Now, I have first-hand experience in this particular area. I felt the devastation that road danger can bring. And the graphs are important, and you need to understand the delivery, but it's important we also sort of stare in the face at what it actually means and remember it. This is Kidus Wonderwasson, a 6-year-old, who was riding his bike on Sunday, the 9th of August last year, at the junction of Wilmot Street and Chevrolet Close by his home in Hume, when he was hit by a car and killed. He just wanted to play out in his own street. In 2019 alone, there were 314 people killed or seriously injured while walking or cycling on Greater Manchester roads. In fact, we average about 700, I think, KSIs a year. In cold facts, you might have picked up at the start, that's £800 million a year in costs. And the lowest income areas are twice as likely to be killed walking as those in higher income areas. So if we want people to get out of their car, we have to get on this with a joined up danger reduction strategy. And that is a big conversation that I want to have, and I want to have it soon. On a lighter note, again, many of the danger reduction steps we need to take are already being actioned. We're making neighbourhoods safe for children like Kidus to play outside their home now. And I believe personally, why wouldn't you have all of Greater Manchester neighbourhoods prioritising people? And this year, I suppose, in a sense, we've started that journey because we have got what have been deemed nationally low traffic neighbourhoods. We call them active neighbourhoods being created, and there will be examples that I firmly believe others will then want to follow. Lastly, we need to ensure that everybody in GM, regardless of the housing or economic background, have access to active travel. Only 9% of low-income households have a bike at the moment, as opposed to nearly 60% of higher income households. And that's not right. Now, GM Bike Hire is going to be a really important part of that. Phase 1 alone, which is going to roll out later this year, will put affordable bikes within easy reach of 100,000 homes. And once we get on with the full rollout across all of Greater Manchester's centres, we'll reach more than 750,000 people. So it's a big step forward when combined with that safe space. Most, of course, are going to continue to have their own bikes, which is only useful if you use them. And we know that having somewhere safe to park a bike is as important, if not more important, than having one in the first place. So as well as safe space, danger reduction, bike access, and secure parking for all residents, I think has to be one of our 4 priorities to complete the picture and give people that joined up suite of active travel options that they need to be able to make the switch. So in 2017, we planned, if you like, our route to a sustainable future. And then we began to walk in the right direction with the steps I've just mentioned. I'd say we've now moved to a solid jog, if you like. And from 2021, I think we're now fit enough to really start running. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks, Chris. So I hope you are feeling some hope there of the progress made so far that we absolutely need to celebrate and the journey onwards. So over to Beth now, who's the lead for GM Walking, to share some of the updates there.